Welcome back to Race Control and the Volvo Ocean Race. The fleet is now 51 hours at the gate, and after passing Cape Finisterre or Land's End earlier, they are now into the notorious Bay of Biscay, delivering conditions that it's known for: 30+ knots upwind and 4-meter waves, battering the sailors. Here's Sophie Sizik on board Team SCA.
Yeah, we managed to get out of there, get around Cape Finisterre, get on our way before the guys. Yeah, well, once we got around the lighthouse of Finisterre, basically hit the weather, hit the wind, and yeah, just went on the helm. We've got anything from 30 knots to 36 knots. It's actually pretty gnarly. The sea state is really bad. The waves are out of control, so we're just trying to keep the boat moving and keep some speed on, keeping the boat going about 11 knots if we can. Just trying to keep the boat under control, really. In one piece. It's not nice, but hopefully in a few hours, once we get more offshore and more north, the sea state might settle down a little. But yeah, it's gnarly.
Gnarly, perfect explanation for it. I'm joined now by Clougher, previous race winner, 2-time Volvo veteran, also known as Juggy. Thanks for joining us so much, Juggy. We actually sent out a helicopter earlier as the fleet was off Cape Finisterre. This is what it looked like for Team SCA.
Holy smoke. Yeah, that's good action. Classic Finisterre. That's the Bay of Biscay we all know and love. Can you hear me all right? Because you're breaking up a little bit. But anyway, that was great footage.
Yeah, it was actually beautiful conditions. Just at sunrise, SCA leading the fleet there. But you're familiar with pirate, correct?
You're breaking up a little bit, Jim, but yeah, no, we've had some good experiences out there in the bay and going around Cape Finisterre. Rough conditions around there. The first night in the Pirates of the Caribbean race was one of the best nights of sailing of my life, but you know, we were all very fresh on those boats at that time, so none of us had ever sailed at, you know, like that ever. Nobody had ever sailed those 70s like that in those conditions ever, so it was a hell of a night. It was crazy. There we are, yeah, we were blasting along, and unfortunately the boat did come apart a little bit, and so we managed to realise that at the time, and we took her into Portugal and had to fly the boat to South Africa.
That's a great shot of you down below. All right, let's look now at the virtual eye of where the fleet is at the current moment in the Bay of Biscay. This is actually earlier today. After rounding Cape Finisterre, they had on-the-edge conditions off the edge of Costa de Muerte, the coast of death. Interestingly, the teams with the Spaniards on board all tacked inshore, maybe trying to get relief from the 4-meter waves, maybe trying to get a little bit of land breeze shift. The first and second places, though, Team SCA, Team Vestas Wind holding first and second, the fleet behind, very tight. And the breeze coming up, staying strong, but possibly a right shift, allowing for the question mark whether they'll all tack right, expecting the righty, or whether they'll stay offshore like the Northwest fleet is currently. And it sounds like we have on the line, on a live X, one of the fleets that's inshore, the Spanish boat, MAPFRE. Francisco, are you there? Can you hear us?
Genny, how are you?
Well, I'm doing very well. I think I'm much drier than you are. How is it out there?
It's quite rough. I'm inside the boat, but right now the guys are doing a watch change, so it's quite a busy moment on board, and yeah, it's pretty interesting sailing conditions out here in the bay.
How's the seasickness factor? Are you guys all okay? Has anyone? It looks like rough and upwind could be prime time for being seasick.
Well, I think I was the only one right in the morning when we were in Finisterre, but right now we're all good. You know, the guys are doing the watches and going straight into the banks, so no one seems to be having seasickness, but what we are having is a little bit of issue just hanging on deck. You know, it's quite rough with the side wave waves and the high winds.
And how about the rest of the fleet? There were 3 of you guys that were tacking up the coast. Were they close enough that you could see them as that tacking duel was going on?
Yeah, we have Abu Dhabi just in front of us, and an hour ago was Brunel as well, but I think they had an issue with the J2, so we lost them. You know, we were quite close to land, and they missed the tag, and we continue with Abu Dhabi, but they went more into the ocean, not as close as to the land like us.
And do you know why you guys were so close to land? What was the reasoning behind it?
Well, of course, we're always looking for the good win, and it's a strategical decision from Xavi and Jean-Luc and the whole team. But most of it is to stay close to land.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Francisco. Stay safe. Hope you don't get seasick again. And please say happy birthday to Jean-Luc Nelius for us. Back with you now, Juggy. That was MAPFRE onboard reporter down below, obviously trying to speak to us without getting too wet. But let's talk about another sailor in this fleet. He's done 6. This is his 6th Volvo Ocean race. Chuni, he's on board Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing now. How well do you know him?
Chuni's a classic. We're good mates. I managed to spend a good bit of time with him here when they were in Newport. We were going to sail together. We were considering sailing. He sailed on when they sailed on the Brazil boat. I joined the team. But we're good mates, and he's a great competitor, and he's really a funny guy.
Oh, nice. Well, we've got this little footage of him earlier. He's the only Galician in the fleet, which means he's from right about where they're sailing by now. They passed La Coruña earlier, and he's calling tactics on board at the current moment. Let's take a look.
Chuni is the tactician right now, the local wizard. Or he better be.
No, it's good. Only when we go outside, we need to change. From water and less wind.
About 6.5 minutes if you want to go before that rock. It's about, 15, 18 if you want to go further.
After you sleep, you hit the land,
Yeah.
Then ley line for 40. You can tell me the ley line, Taurignana ley line 40.
Get a bit windy. Fortunately, it's been crossed by Brunel.
So that was a close fight earlier with Brunel and Abu Dhabi. Since then, we've heard that Brunel had problems with their J2. We have them on the line now. Can you hear us on board Brunel? Hello, Team Brunel, are you there? It's Genny calling from Volvo Ocean Race.
Yo, Stefan here.
Stefan, excellent to hear from you. We were just wondering if you could talk us through what happened to your J2 earlier.
Sorry?
We heard you had a malfunction with your front sail. What happened?
Sorry. Can you repeat me the question? What happened? The problem with the jib, the sail, the front sail, you mean?
Yeah, what happened to your jib?
Yeah, just blew up. It's 35 big waves, so suddenly it was a big bang. I was in the bunk. I saw first it was the same sound as the complex. I was afraid it broke the rig. It was only the jib, so this is of course shitty, but we still have the J3 right now up. Enough for now because it's 35 knots, so it will be doable. It was 3 risks. But if the wind gets less, like 25 knots, it will be shitty because then the G2 is the perfect sail. So for now it's good, but later on we have to figure out how to make a perfect setup.
Sorry, Stefan, it's quite hard to hear you, so we might just let you go for now. Good luck, especially in the upwind and the wave states. Juggy, I'm not sure if you caught a lot of that, but they did have their J2 essentially ripped off, I think ripped off the hanks earlier from what we've heard. We'll see footage and photos of it soon, so we'll be able to actually diagnose it, but it was a little bit hard to hear. So another...
Later in the race, because that could be a little bit of a factor as it does go lighter. I mean, if that low does creep across the bay quicker than anticipated, they're probably going to need that sail. So,
the interesting part especially is we had Bauer 2 days ago talking about Team Vestas-Wen, basically saying that he thinks they will do well because they have new sails, and then of course for him to have a sail problem is really unfortunate. We do have footage earlier from Team Vestas-Wen skipper Chris Nicholson. We'll look at that.
Two at the right time and briefing on carrying on, so we've got to try and now work on getting some miles back from SEA and defend to the guys behind us. There's a lot lot of heavy upwind sailing together.
He's also basically said that it's too cold for him now that he didn't bring enough layers. Do you think that's just 6 months of not being ocean racing?
Right.
Forgetting what it could really be like. It's incredible.
Well, it's going to get a little bit worse probably before it gets better. Obviously, the wind might be down a little bit as they get away from the compression around Finisterre, but the sea state's still going to continue to build for the next short time anyway.
What do you think about this separation between the fleet, whether they go offshore into the breeze or into the coast? I mean, it sounds to us like the routing is sending them into the coast, expecting the right shift, but it shows it's also going to be really, really light in there. So the fleet for now, we weren't expecting them to go completely offshore into the breeze. That's what they've done. Do you think they'll stick with it?
Well, when now those boats that are going offshore are reasonably committed, maybe the boats that went inshore had an opportunity to sort of stay out of any sea state or anything for a little bit longer, but obviously they haven't really gained as yet. Sooner or later, they're going to have to poke their nose out there, which they're doing now, but it really, they have to have a plan. When there's a lot of good navigators there, a lot of those guys are in their home waters. You know, you've got Jean-Luc and Jan Rieu and Charles Quadrelier and Sam Davies. They've all sailed all their lives around the Bay of Biscay. It's their home waters. It's most unfortunate for them that they had to pick a time to go across the bay when it's dead upwind in windy conditions. There's really no shortcuts. So it's just a question of how this low, creeps in under the high and how fast it expands and who can get pressure and shift.
How much they want to be in more breeze and how much they don't. Well, we hopefully are getting one of the northwestern boats on the line soon. I think we're trying to talk to Team Alvimedica. We have Amory Ross actually on board Team Alvimedica. Amo, can you hear us?
Hey, Jenny, I can hear you just fine. I've got Will Oxley here for you.
Excellent. Wonderful. Can you put on?
Sure.
We'll get that answer soon enough, Juggy, it sounds like.
Hey, Will, how are you? Juggy here.
Will, it's Genny, and we've also got Justin Clougher, Juggy, on the line as well.
Yeah, hey, Jenny, it's Will here.
Perfect. We were just talking about the options coming up. What are you guys expecting between here and the finish in Lorient for your team?
We're expecting to have more than 25 knots, holding probably through till tomorrow morning. But we're thinking the breeze is going to go left initially. We're going to tack and then a long port, and then breeze is going to go right again, and we'll tack in a decreasing speed towards the SM1 buoy. So quite a bit more upwind work, but getting pretty light at the end. As you can hear, it's pretty bouncy at the moment.
What do you think about the split in the fleet currently with the guys who went inshore earlier versus you guys offshore?
Time will tell. Both options showed up on the model as possibilities. It depends how far left the breeze goes. If in the next few hours we get a nice 10-degree header, then we'll look good. But if we don't, then they're looking strong down there. So it will be interesting to see how it plays out.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Will, for joining us, and we'll check in with you soon. And that'll be it from us here. Thank you, Juggy, for joining us as well. Hopefully, we'll get to see what happens with this split overnight, and we will be back with you guys tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. UTC, for the next Inside Track.
How many? We didn't know how many, so we put a little.
Yes, there is a 3 and a 5 in my birthday. 5 or 3 or 3 or 5, I don't know, I really don't remember.